Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru.
बलियो चिराग अंधियार मह, सब कल उधरी एक नाम धर्म, प्रगट सगल हर पवन मह, जन नानक गुर पार ब्रह्म। गुरुदेव माता, गुरुदेव पिता, गुरुदेव स्वामी परमेश्वरा, गुरुदेव सखा ज्ञान पंजन, गुरुदेव बंदिप सहोदरा, गुरुदेव दाता हर नाम उपदेसै, गुरुदेव मंत निरोधरा, गुरुदेव शांत सत बुध मूरत, गुरुदेव पारस परस परा, गुरुदेव तीरथ अमृत सरोवर, गुर ज्ञान मज्जन अपरंपरा, गुरुदेव करता सब पाप हरता, गुरुदेव पतित पवित करा, गुरुदेव आद जुगाद जुग जुग, गुरुदेव मंत हर जप उदरा, गुरुदेव संगत प्रभ मेल, कर कृपा हम मूढ़ पापी जित लग तरा, गुरुदेव सतगुर पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर, गुरुदेव नानक हर नमस्करा, गुरुदेव सतगुर पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर, गुरुदेव नानक हर नमस्करा। धन धन श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी महाराज, चवर छत्र तख्त दे मालिक, जुगो जुग अटल। ਤੇ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀਓ, ਹੱਥ ਜੋੜ ਕੇ ਅਸੀਸਾਂ ਬਖਸ਼ੋ, ਗੱਜ ਗੱਜ ਕੇ ਫਤਿਹ ਆਖੋ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। The thing I want to talk about today, which is something which has been brewing away in my mind for a while, and recent events have made me think that it's an important topic to raise, is something which I see a lot on social media nowadays. It seems like everybody's a commentator on Sikhi, you know. Everybody's commenting on these posts and commenting on videos and things like this. But the question I often want to ask people is, where they're getting their Sikhi from? Where are we working out ki Sikhi ki hai? Where are these people that are commenting actually getting the Sikhi from? And the problem with a lot of the people that are commenting now is they've never really read Gurbani. They've never really sat down and looked in Gurbani. So when they're saying, it never says in Bani that something like, I don't know, it says in Bani we're all equal. It never says that there's any difference between people. Regardless of whether you agree with that statement or not, the first question you would ask someone who said that is, have you read all of Guru Granth Sahib Ji? If you're going to say it never says in Bani something, the question would be, you've read all of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, all of Dasam Granth Sahib Ji, you read all of Sarablo Granth Sahib Ji, you read all the Hukamname, all of Pai Gurdas Ji and Pai Nandal Ji, and now, having read all of that, you can definitively say, it doesn't say anywhere. And je puchoge, the jawab ei milda hai, no, I've never really sat down and read Bani, I can't even read Bani. ਤੇ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਾਣੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਸਕਦੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਦਾਵਾ ਮਾਰ ਕੇ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਦੇਖੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਧਰੇ? ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਦੇਖੀ ਹੈ? When people can say, I've never seen it anywhere, that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. They hardly seen any Bani in their life in the first place. ਮਸਾਂ ਜਪਜੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਪੜ੍ਹਿਆ ਹੋਏਗਾ, ਸੁਖਮਨੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਹੋਏਗਾ. People are commentating and they have no clue what they're commentating about. ਬਸ ਬੋਲ ਦਿੱਤਾ. There's a quote. People are getting their Sikhi from internet memes nowadays. That's how bad it is. You know, they Sikhon ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਸਿੱਖ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਸਿੱਖਦਾ ਆ, ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਸਿੱਖ ਪੜ੍ਹਦਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ. People don't read, they don't want to read. If you go to their house and you say, show me your library, you're a Sikh, show me your library. And they'll show you a whole bunch of Western books. They've got no books on Sikhi in their house. No tikas of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And some people say, what's a tika? Tika is an explanation of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Then, no books of Bhai Gurdas Ji, no other books written by people that are Gursikhs, that are well learned, जिन्हों ने साखियाँ क्रिएट की हुई हैं, या कवि संतोख सिंह जी हो, रतन सिंह पंगू, these famous writers now, Panth, Mahan Kosh, people don't have these things in their houses, but they're on internet commenting about what it says in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, what Sikhi says. So at the moment, it's the blind leading the blind online, basically. The blind are leading the blind. No one's really reading Bani or trying to work out what Bani is saying. And unfortunately, we're getting our stuff from little things like memes. There's a famous meme that floats around on the internet. It says, before becoming a Sikh, Hindu or Muslim, be a human first. Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Guru Nanak Dev Ji never said that. Somebody just made that up, apne bhavna lal, with their own feeling or whatever. They've written this thing up, stuck it up saying Guru Nanak Dev Ji wrote it. They've just put words in Guruji's mouth. Guruji's putting words in our mouth by giving us Gurbani for us to read out. What we're doing is, nay Maharaj, your Bani I don't want to read, you read my Bani. We're saying to our Guru, Tusi meri Bani padho, my one's better, you read this out. I'm going to attribute this quote to you. That's like the worst kind of fake Nimrata. You know, fake Nimrata is, no, main nahi kita, Guru Sahib ne karwaya. This person say, main nahi bolya, Guru Sahib bol gaye. Jab Guru Sahib ne nahi boli gal, bas likh ditti unhone. They put words in the Guru's mouth and said, oh, it's just, I don't want to take any credit for this amazing quote I've made up. But this quote is not Sikhi. Guru Sahib never said, before being a Sikh, a Hindu or a Muslim, be a human first. He's talking to humans. He doesn't need to tell people to be humans, he needs to tell them to be bhagats. He's saying, before, Maharaj says, ki sant ka marg, taram ki paudi, ko vad bhagi paye. That's a quote by Guru Sahib, not by Guru Nanak Dev Ji. It's a quote from Gurbani, which says, before you can walk the path of the saints, you must be walking in taram. And taram does not necessarily mean, there's a katha going to go up pretty soon about what is taram. It doesn't necessarily mean any one religion. It's more about your duty to Akal Purakh to live a spiritual and moral life, and to work for Sarbat Da Pala. That's taram. What's going on now? People are becoming internet gurus. है ना, आप पे ही बानी उचार के गुरु साहब दे मूँह विच पा के कह दिंदे कि आपां गुरु साहब दी बानी दस रहे लोकां नूं. And what I see with this is a serious lack of intellectual readership. No one's reading Bani, really just making it up on the spot as they go along. And the second thing is, there's no respect for someone who's actually read and giving their opinion. So if somebody does give their opinion based upon history, based upon philosophy, people say, oh no, that's not the Sikhi I know about. Okay, it might not be the Sikhi you know about, but the question is, where did you get your Sikhi from? Everybody should be asking themselves this question. Where did we get our Sikhi from? When I sit on this stage and I'm going to start quoting Bani to you, that's where you should get your Sikhi from Gurbani. The quotes I give you are from Bani. My interpretation, based upon Bani, is my interpretation. You are free. That's why we put all the interpretations and we put all the quotes into the Katha, because then you can take that quote and you could have a different interpretation, but at least you've got the quote from Gurbani. So there's some kind of backing to what I'm trying to say. What is going on now is people are making up their Sikhi, say, where does it say that? It's all about love. It's all about Nimrata, bruv, innit? You say, okay, I agree with you, but what have we said that's against Pyar and Nimrata? Like somebody said, Guruji wouldn't turn someone away if they came for marriage. I said, okay, where are you getting that from? How many stories have you read of the Gurus? Because there was 10 of them and they lived for 200 years. So before you say anything, before I even look at whether you're right or wrong, the question is, have you read the 200-year history of all 10 Gurus? And then you're qualified now to at least make some kind of statement about what the Guru would say or not do. And they say, no, I haven't read it. Then how can you just sit here and say Guruji would never do that? There's itihas in our history, the time when Guru Sahib told a Sikh who came to him for Amrit, nahi, I'm not going to give you Amrit. He's a very famous Gursikh called Pai Manj Ji. Pai Manj Ji di Sakhi सारे सुखां नूं पता है, प्रचलित है, बहुत मशहूर है. Pai Manj Ji came to Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pasha. They were so impressed. They said, give me Sikhi. Maharaj said, nahi. Manj Ji, Manj, tere kol ek Guru hai. He said, Manj, you've already got a Guru. I can't give you Sikhi. Tere kol Guru hai. Pai Manj Ji was a follower of Sakhi Sarwar. Maharaj said, I can't give you Sikhi. You've already got a Guru. Pai Manj Ji had to turn down that Guru. He had to turn down Sakhi Sarwar and take on Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pacha. And he suffered because of that. His family disowned him. His pind disowned him. He was the head of that pind. He was a leader of the Sakhi Sarwar movement in his pind. And he quit it all to become a Sikh. And his itihas, I can't go into it now, long story. But to cut it short, yes, Guruji turned someone away until they took on the Guru properly. Because Maharaj says, Man beche Satgur ke paas, tis sevak ke kaaj ras. They never said, Adda man vech do, Adda kisi hor nu vech do, theek hai, chalda hai. Kehinde nahi, je mera Sikh banna hai, pura man mainu vecho. If you want to become a Sikh, sell yourself completely to the Guru. Guru Nanak Dev Ji said this quote. They said, Jo to prem khiran ka chao, sir tal tali, gali meri aao, it marg pair tarije, sir dije, kaan na kije. You're going to have to give yourself to become a Sikh. You can't do it half-heartedly. Then now we're not being disrespectful to someone to say you can't come here and take an Amrit if I say to someone who's a Muslim, sorry mate, you can't just take Amrit to accompany your partner. People will say, oh, that's rude. In today's standard, they'll say, oh, why can't you let him take Amrit? But you can't let someone who's not planning to keep the rehet, who's going to go outside and leave that rehet, you can't tell them, Aajo ji, tusi Amrit bhi shak lo. It's not a tasty water competition, is it? Oh, sugar water. That's chabiu. We're not giving out chabiu in the Amrit Sanchar. We're giving out naam of the Guru, and naam tusi apne aap nu de ke lende ho. If that's one sanskar, what if you had somebody tomorrow, a white couple come along and they say, we're Christians, but we'd like our child to have Amrit de Chula and get him a hukumnama, but we're going to give him some English name. If you had somebody come up and say, I want a hukumnama, ardas, Chula of Amrit for my child, but I'm not going to bring them up as Sikh, I'm going to cut their case, I'm not going to keep their name as per Sikh tradition, I just want the ceremony, take nice photos. You'd say, no thank you. This is for Sikhs. If you're going to commit to the Guru, you're going to say to the Guru, I'm going to bring this child up as Sikh, then you can have this ceremony. In the same way, if there was a situation where someone was dead, like say in your family someone converted to another dharam. Now when they die, you can't just bring him to the Gurdwara and say, Inada kirtan soila padke antim sanskar Sikhi rivaja nal kar lo. You can't say to them, I'm going to burn this body as per the Sikh tradition, even though the person was not Sikh. That's going against that person's faith. If they're a Christian, you should bury them in a cemetery and do it the Christian way. They got another Guru. Respect that Guru, respect that tradition, and bring them up that way, in that tradition. There's a story in our itihas about this. Guru Gobind Singh on a battlefield, they had a bunch of Muslimans that were killed. 300 Muslimans were killed. And Guru Maharaj said to the Singhs, they said, Singho, Musliman mare ne, theek hai na? Inna nu appa Muslimana rivaja naal na inu dafnana hai. We're going to dig a hole for them, we're going to bury them as per Islamic traditions. Now digging a hole for one person is hard enough. For 300 people is quite hard. Singhs got a bit lazy. They were tired. It was late. They wanted to get back, have their prasadi. Yeah? We know people like this, don't we? Yeah. So what happened? They just come back a bit. They came back quite quickly. Maharaj said, Singho ki kita? Badi cheti wapas aa gaye. They go, Maharaj har to ho nahi sake. Aapa bahut thake sige. Aapa inna nu saadta. We did ardas and we burned them. Mara says, Singho, hon 300 saal vaste इन्हां ने पंथ विच वापस आना है ते तुहानूं तंग करना है मलेश खालसा बन के. They say for 300 years we're going to suffer this, what you've just done today, by breaking somebody else's dharm. You've broken their own traditions, and for 300 years these souls are going to keep on coming back into the Khalsa Panth as Malesh Khalsa. And they will then ruin the Panth from inside because of what you did to them today. So Sikhi is about respecting everybody's religion. But then we've got to respect our own religion to start with. There's 4 saskars. Janam saskar to get the name, Namkaran saskar. Fir Amrit sansar to get the Amrit. Then Anand saskar to take Amrit, to get married. And the last one is Antim sanskar when you die. And everybody's going to die. And these are all for Sikhs. We don't just give them out to anybody willy-nilly. They're for Sikhs. Because there's a specific relationship with the Guru and the Sikh that's going on in each one. When people say, what's wrong with people getting married? It's not a marriage taking place in the Ananda Karaj. Ananda Karaj is not a marriage taking place. There's no vows to each other. It's not like a Christian marriage and they go, do you promise to love, honor, cherish and look after this person from... It's not in the Char Lama. The Char Lama are not about the 2 people. They're not taking any vows to each other. Both of them are taking vows to Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Both the people are taking vows to Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So you can't say to one person, here you go, cross your fingers behind your back, just matha take and take all these 4 vows. You don't have to believe in them. Why would you let somebody do that? If they're Christian, then let them believe in Christ. They don't have to come over here, pretend they believe in Guru Granth Sahib Ji for your benefit. The first love involves accepting Guruji as your Guru. And look, people say, lava are all about you and God. Lava are just about spirituality. Lava are not just about spirituality. Have you read the lava? Where are we getting our Sikhi from? Have you read the lava yourself? Have you ever read even the English translation for you to sit here and give us teachings about what is in the lava? There's 4 lava. Each one involves an oath to the Guru, because you matha take as soon as you hear them. Then you go around Guru Granth Sahib Ji and you matha take again. So you accept what was said in the lava. What's in the lava? I wonder how many of the people this week that have written articles and gone into all this detail about Ananda Karaj and fundamentalism and Sikh youth, how many of them have even read the lava or have got the lava can't memorize? It's only 4 shabads. You know what the first lava says? It says, Satguru Gur Pura Aradho Sab Kilivik Pap Gavaya. That accept the Guru as your Satguru and worship that Guru. So you're telling a Christian, take part in this ceremony, say, I'm going to worship Guru Nanak Dev Ji as my Guru, but you don't have to follow it. If a normal Christian now, if you brought them in here and tell them this is what the ceremony means, they'll say, can I have something else? In this country, you know, they trust you in a court of law just to put your hand up on a Bible and say, I'm going to tell the truth. They say, I'll let you just put your hand on the Bible and speak the truth. That's how much they trust people in this country. And people do often, in the courtroom, tell the truth. That's the funny thing, that's the weird part. This is a court as well. You know how it's a court? It's a darbar. The English translation for the word court is darbar. This is the darbar of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And in this darbar, you must also speak the truth. You should be told what you're signing up for, and if you don't want to sign up for that, no one should be forcing you to go through a ceremony that you don't believe in just for their photo snaps. I'm sorry, but that's what it comes down to. It comes down to pleasing people and taking photos. They're not doing it out of love for the Guru. So the question, again and again, we must ask ourselves is, where are we getting our Sikhi from? And what I see is that people are getting their Sikhi just from Ami, Havato. Yeah? Whatever was floating around in their family, what they picked up from here and there, from reading from listening to somebody talk one day, this, that. They made up their own Sikhi. They've never sat down and read Gurbani. They never sat down and gone through even one Katha of any Bani. I was very disappointed once. I went to a Sikhi camp and I said, how many people here have gone through Katha of Japji Sahib by anyone? Japji Sahib is the very first prayer. It's only 15 minutes long to read. And in that camp, there's about 3-4 hands went up. Nobody really, out of hundreds of people, had gone through Japji Sahib from anyone, just to work out what it's saying. And I'm not going to embarrass you guys now by asking you the same question. But I can tell you, in our Panth, the level of study of Gurbani is at all-time low at the moment. All-time low. Hardly anybody is doing vichar of Gurbani. Hardly anybody is trying to work out, what is Gurbani saying to me? They're just making it up as they go along. And they assume this is what the Guru would do. You know, the amount of people that have said the Guru is always forgiving. Well, the Guru wasn't always forgiving to those people that stole from the Guru's golak. Guru Gobind Singh Ji had those people brought in front and he had them burnt. And how were they killed? The only time that you can see capital punishment in Sikhi, Guruji had them brought up, thrown into a well and had boiling hot oil poured upon them to have them killed. Those that stole from the Guru's golak. The worst crime. And people are like, oh, I didn't know that. That's true, you didn't know that. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. That doesn't mean that that's not Sikhi. Sikhi is determined by one person only. Sikhi is determined by the Guru. It's not determined by us, it's Gur Sikhi. The real name for Sikhi is Gur Sikhi. We call it Sikhi. If you look in Gurbani, it will come up as Gur Sikhi. Bhai Gurdas Ji calls it Gur Sikhi. And he says, Gur Sikhi da karam eho. Guru farmaye Gur Sikh karna. Gur kirpa Gur Sikh Gur sarna. He said, tell you what Sikhi is. Sikhi is whatever the Guru says, the Sikh does. That's Sikhi. So, if we don't know what the Guru is saying, where are we going to get our Sikhi from? How are we going to work out what our Guru wants us to do? Sanu pata hi nahi, because we've never read. Basically, what I've seen today, in this week, is educated idiots. Educated people, well read, able to write words together, but they're completely devoid of Gurbani. And they're telling the Guru what the Guru would do. That's the worst part. They think they're okay to tell Guru Nanak Dev Ji or Guru Ramdas Ji what the Guru would have done. Bina pade. And isn't that a little bit offensive? Would you go up to a king and say, you should do this, mate? The king will say, I'm the king. I'm your king. I tell you what you do. You don't tell me what I do. Yeah? This is our king. Rajan Raj, Panan Pan, Devan Dev, Upma Mahan. Our king. When our king tells us to do something, we just say, Sat Bachan Ji, Hanji. We don't sit there saying, but Guruji, I think you should do this. Just sawal pucho, do tin te piche hat jande. Oh man, you become a fanatic, man. You don't even want to believe in love. There's no compassion in you, bro. We're trying to work out, what did Guruji say? What did Guruji do? Some people are not interested in that. They just want to work out, what can I get out of Sikhi? What do I want? And if they don't like it, they'll moan about it. They're not interested. Sunna vaase tayar nahi. Sunna, the first step in Sikhi is sunna, fir manna, fir karna. That is Sikhi. If you want to understand what Sikhi is, first listen to what the Guru is saying, then accept it, and then do it. This is Sikhi. It's not about us telling the Guru what he would do. It's about us asking the Guru, what would you do? ਅਸੀਂ ਪੁੱਛਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ, ਅਸੀਂ ਫਿਰ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਪੜ੍ਹੇ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ, ਆਪਾਂ ਵੈਸੇ ਹੀ ਦਾਵਾ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਹਾਂ. And this is a real shame in our community right now, that there's very little respect for people that have learned Gurbani and are speaking from a place of Gurbani and history. And people who are totally unread, people that are totally, like even my own brother himself, totally unread, totally unaware of what's going on with Sikhi, they think it's qualified for them, coming from Punjabi family, to stick a post up, put an article in the newspapers, and saying to people that these people are ruining Sikhi. The ones that are trying to find out what Sikhi is about, that they're ruining Sikhi. What is Sikhi? All these people talking about trying to save Sikhi, no one is reading Gurbani to work out what Sikhi is in the first place. So what are we going to save? What are you trying to save if you're not reading Sikhi? You're not reading Bani. None of the debates talked about the four lama. No one talked about the four lama because no one's reading the four lama. Because for them, it's a wedding ceremony. It's not a wedding ceremony, it's four lama. And each one is meant to be followed by the people that are matha taking and saying they're going to do it. It's a lama, the ceremony. And half the people that are talking about it can't even say the word lama. The girl on the BBC live radio was saying Lavan. It's like, it's not Lavan. Most people can't even see Ananda Karaj. They keep saying Ananda Karaj. So these people, they can't say what it is and they're talking about it. Imagine little kids coming up to a teacher and telling them about physics. Sometimes I would tell my kids, that they're only 8 years old, they think they know more in it, they come and tell you, no, listen, you're only 8. Tu rehne, right? Stay in your shoes and I'll stay in my shoes. And this is what's happening now with these people. They're educated idiots talking about stuff they know nothing about and they're not able to understand. And then if you give them a bit of Gurbani or a bit of history which backs you up and they get upset because they're out of depth now, what do they say? Oh, you're just a fanatic. No, we're just educated compared to you. And now you're out your depth. The easiest thing for you to do is to throw swear words at us. Today I got called a bum by someone. I said, I'm not selling Bani. The Gurdwara are selling Bani. I'm not selling Bani. Or I have no price list. How can I be a bum? We're saying get rid of the price list. So one thing you've got to be aware of is that we've got to get our Sikhi from where? From Guru. Get your Sikhi from Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Get your Sikhi from Gurbani. Don't just pick it up from random places. Find out from Guru Granth Sahib Ji what Guru Granth Sahib Ji is saying. If you can't read it in the original, at least read the English translation. Work out what Sikhi is from there. And if we don't know what Sikhi is based upon Gurbani, what we can do is we can find someone and ask them to explain Bani to us. But only take that person's word if they're coming from a Bani angle. If they're just making it up, there's no point taking their word for it. Oh, Guru would do this, Guru would do that. Based on what? Based on what history? So, sorry for a bit of a rant. I wasn't actually going to go into that today, but it just happened to go that way. Because what I've seen over the last couple of weeks, and I just want to go into this bit a bit more. We're our own worst enemies. That's what I've seen this week. Yeah. The people that argue most about Ananda Karaj being for non-Sikhs are the Sikhs. If you explain to a Gora nicely, there's 4 ceremonies, each one involves an oath to the Guru, and no one can take them unless they plan to be a Sikh. They go, oh, I understand that. Gori aren't troublesome people. You all know, because we work with Gori, innit? They're not very troublesome. They're quite accommodating, nice people. If you explain something nicely to them, say, look, this is how it is. It's not that we're being bad to you. It's just that there's 4 things that they are reserved for people that are of a Sikh family, right? Who are taking an oath to the Guru. And then you just can't do them unless you plan to be a Sikh. You can't just lie in court. You can't just lie to the king. They go, oh, yeah, I understand that. Yeah, you're right. It's fair enough. Just get a blessing, yeah? Yeah, just get a blessing. Yeah, all right then, thanks. That's what the Gori are like. The people that are the ones that pull you down the most are the ones whose fragile interpretation of Sikhi has now been shattered by someone who's come along and quoted some Bani at them and some history at them. Because it was fragile in the first place. They had no history to stand up on. And then they think, well, they don't think from an intellectually learning point of view, that oh, I've just learned something new. Thank you, O Gursikha, tu mainu aake bani sikhai, mainu itihas sikhaya, main teri pairi pavan, tu mainu kuch sikhaya, jondi se Gursikhda, tis niv niv lago pai jiyo, akhan birtha ji ki, gur sajan deh milai jiyo, soi das upadesada. Tell me some advice, give me some teachings about the Guru. That's what we should be asking for Gursikh. Gursikh comes along, shatters your view of what you thought was Sikhi. What do? Attack the Gursikh. Tenu ki pata, you're a fanatic. I know what Sikhi is. Based on what? Keep going back to this point. Where are we getting our Sikhi from? I was in America talking to a Gursikh. Talking to a Sikh. And I said, he said, the Guru is a teacher. I said, no, he's not just a teacher. He's like God on earth. The guy goes, no, man. Even today on Facebook, there was some guy coming up saying the Gurus were just normal people. They made mistakes like everybody else. Who are you to tell us who the Guru is? Based upon what? You know these people that you're talking about? They actually refed a whole bunch of writings for you to find out what they were like. They left a lot of writings to explain to people who they were. And in one of those writings it says, the Guru can't make mistakes. Guru Nanak Dev Ji himself writes these words in Dakhni Oankar. They say, Pullan andar sabko apol Guru kartal. The Guru can't make mistakes. Guru Nanak Dev Ji writes that. And these people are online saying the Guru were just normal people, they made mistakes like everybody else. All right. So then there could be mistaken Bani, couldn't they? Because people make mistakes all the time. Oh no, they'll say, no, Bani is perfect. But the person that wrote that is also perfect. See what I'm talking about? People just making up Sikhi from thin air. Tanu pada ki hai Guru Sahib bare. Guru doesn't make mistakes, the Guru is God upon earth. The status of the Guru is being robbed from us. That's one thing I can say. When you say robbed, it means someone else came along and took it away from you. You know, you was robbed. You was only robbed because someone robbed you. There was a robber and there was you that got robbed. Yeah. Who robbed the status of the Guru from us is a question. Who robbed it from us? Yes, those lovely people that like to convert others. Not the Muslims this time.